The shadow anomaly has been added to the game, and to keep it short and simple for those of you that just want quick information, it is a very safe anomaly. It is probably the safest anomaly in the game. This is one that you could probably keep pretty much anywhere. Just like any anomaly, you walk up and scan with an anomaly scanner. And this one is just very quick and simple. You probably want to get the severity upwards of 80 to 90% and just keep it stable. This isn't a tutorial of how to do anomalies. This is just a video on the shadow anomaly itself. So, on its own, it doesn't do anything until it pulses. It's not like the electric anomaly where it just randomly shocks you. It doesn't heat up the room. It doesn't cool it down. You just wait until it pulses, and then you can start maintaining it. Once it pulses, it will do a few things. It will essentially spread random darkness clouds. It's basically just like smoke. Without many pulses, just like one at a time, it doesn't really do that much. If you walk inside the smoke itself, you can still see yourself. Lights don't do all that much to help. It does a little bit. But the light smoke is really not that big of a deal. You can see past it. You can even see into it. But in areas where it stacks more, you can start losing vision pretty significantly. Like, I can't see this side of the room, so depending on where the anomaly is, this could have pretty severe effects on navigation. But each pulse is really not that big of a deal. And like I said, the severity of the pulses doesn't really change anything. Also, what can happen inside each pulse is shadow rifts can open, and each one of these is essentially like a little blue space anomaly. If you walk into it, it can teleport you randomly, it can teleport you through past walls, but it doesn't seem like it'll ever teleport you into a wall, so unless you get teleported to space, it's probably not much of an issue. You might get stuck in a room you don't have access to, but that's really it. Also, the floor will get turned into shadow stone, or shadow stone will be applied to the floor, I should say. It doesn't do anything, it's just visual. And dealing with the shadow anomaly directly, these clouds will last forever, but science can easily make flashes very cheap. Round start, 1 glass, 2 plastic, 1 steel. Each of these flashes are a little nerfed. They only have 2 charges. But if you just stand basically in the middle of the anomaly and use the flash, you don't have to really even be concerned about flash protection because you're only flashing yourself like a second and it will kill all of the clouds. The Shadow Stone will get left behind. You can't do anything with it. You could crowbar the tile to get rid of it. Sometimes when it pulses, Darkwood will spawn. Not like the game, just Darkwood. And if you break the trees, you'll get tower caps. There's no special wood here. And yeah, that's pretty much the entire anomaly. The flash killing the shadows has a pretty massive range. It also kills through walls, so you don't have to worry about getting line of sight with the shadows. You can just flash them from whatever the range to flash is. I don't know the exact range, but it seems like standing just right on the anomaly and using it will pretty much kill all the shadows that it creates. So I got the severity up to 84%, which is 74 point output when it's stable, which is quite a lot. Again, there is very minimal danger, just possibly somebody getting teleported into space through a portal, but you can normally visually see them, at least as long as you're clearing the shadows. And yeah, you can also use like flashbangs, anything that has the flash effect, but flashes are just going to be what you have access to as a scientist. But in general, it seems like just standing right in the middle of the shadow anomaly is a very good way of dealing with it long term. You don't always have to be around for the pulses. It's not a big deal if a little bit of an area is enshrouded, and you get some free wood out of it. Sometimes when it pulses, it can make these pink crystals, so keeping this up long term can be beneficial, but these artifact fragments are really rare to spawn, so I wouldn't bank on it too hard. And you probably do want to maintain having some flash protection if you're going to do this long term, but just flashing yourself once or twice is really not too big of a deal. It doesn't really affect your eyes too much directly, plus medical can always help you out. The only thing that these crystals do is you can break them and they'll drop pink crystal shards, which I believe they are always pink just to fit the theming of the shadow anomaly itself. But once you break these crystals, they are rather tanky, admittedly. They drop these pink crystal shards, which do produce a little bit of light, but the only thing you can really do with them is make pink light tubes out of them, so that's kind of fun at least. And at 95% severity, nothing really changes with the anomaly. It might produce a little bit more shadows than before, but the shadows, again, are minor inconveniences at worst. It is really just kind of like a smoke screen that lasts until somebody flashes it. There is a very small chance as well that a shadow cat can spawn, but it doesn't do anything like harmful. It's basically just a ghost cat. You can't interact with it physically. You can try to pet the cat, but it's a really low chance you'll actually successfully pet the cat. And I suppose the last thing I should cover is what the super critical looks like. The super critical is really interesting. You basically get put in very dark shroud right next to the anomaly itself. If you're in enough shroud, you'll still hear the whispering, which the whispering, the audio of it is definitely my favorite part of this anomaly. It's reminds me of Dishonored a little bit, but that's just a little off topic. But having your screen pitch black, even though you're surrounded by light, is a really cool effect in general. But one other minor thing that it does is it'll leave these not super dense shroud clouds. I don't really know what to call them. Across the entire station. It seems like it has somewhat unlimited range. As you can see, I'm very far away from where the anomaly was. It's reaching all the way to evac. So it thematically is really awesome. It is the safest anomaly in the game, so people will definitely like farming it, which after the Flora anomaly, it's probably good to have a really safe anomaly follow suit. So really in closing, I think this is probably my favorite anomaly in the game. I think the idea of a not super lethal but minor inconvenience across the entire station potentially type of anomaly is really cool. It can still be a problem, but it's never going to be like, haha, the round's over problem, so if science forgets it, everyone at the station will be instantly known that there was a shadow anomaly that went crit, because you'll just see these shadows across the station. The whispering and audio is awesome, and I don't know, it's just a cool theme. I really like its addition. That's really all there is to talk about. Thank you for watching.